November 26th, the Daily Reflection, the hazards of publicity. And this is the 11th tradition for the 11th month. We'll talk about the 11th tradition. People who symbolize causes and ideas feel a deep human need. We of AA do not question that, but we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us. This is from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. They say here it's page 181. In my printing, it's on page 184. And this is the 11th tradition. Let's go back, because many aren't familiar with the 11th tradition, and read this quote in context. So the 11th tradition is, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. And it says as follows: without its legions of well-wishers, AA could never have grown as it has. Throughout the world, immense and favorable publicity of every description has been the principal means of bringing alcoholics into our fellowship. In AA offices, clubs, and homes, telephones ring constantly. One voice says, I read a piece in the newspaper. Another, we heard a radio program. So another, we saw a moving picture, or we saw something about AA on television. It is no exaggeration to say that half of AA's membership has been led to us through channels like these. The inquiring voices are not all alcoholics or their families. Doctors read medical papers about Alcoholics Anonymous and call for more information. Clergymen see articles in their church journals and also make inquiries. Employers learn that great corporations have set their approval upon us and wish to discover what can be done about alcoholism in their own firms. Therefore, a great responsibility fell upon us to develop the best possible public relations policy for Alcoholics Anonymous. Through many painful experiences, we think we have arrived at what that policy ought to be. It is the opposite in many ways of usual promotional practice. We found that we had to rely upon the principle of attraction rather than of promotion. Here's our paragraph in the context of the principle of attraction rather than promotion. Let's see how these two contrasting ideas, attraction and promotion, work out. A political party wishes to win an election, so it advertises the virtues of its leadership to draw votes. A worthy charity wants to raise money. Forthwith, its letterhead shows the name of every distinguished person whose support can be obtained. Much of the political, economic, and religious life of the world is dependent upon publicized leadership. People who symbolize causes and ideas fill a deep human need. We of AA do not question that, but we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us. By temperament, nearly every one of us has been an irrepressible promoter, and the prospect of a society composed almost entirely of promoters was frightening. Considering this explosive factor, we knew we had to exercise self-restraint. So that's the context of this quote. It's about the danger to AA of publicity. It has to be anonymous. It has to be through the rule of attraction and not through promotion, which could lead to other outside influences, as they explain on that. Now, what this means exactly, so they give basic guidelines there, but I just want to point out the words of Bill W. himself in the pamphlet, AA Traditions, how it developed. He writes here, naturally enough, why differences of opinion remain among us, just what our anonymity means, and just how far it ought to go are unsettled questions. And I personally have heard many different opinions within my experience in AA. Interestingly enough, I don't know how this fits with character development and acceptance of others, but people have told me, for instance, making a Facebook group or being involved at all on social media, or even doing this podcast violates anonymity, which people are entitled to their opinion. It isn't appropriate to reprimand or criticize. One could discuss it, raise the issue. In any case, in my opinion, this is okay. I'm trying to remain anonymous, not promoting myself. I'm trying to help others with understanding the reflections or other things I'm trying to do, which I've learned this guidance from Rabbi Twersky, that he put out books after his AA experience, trying to bring the messages of the 12 steps to every person in the world through spiritual growth. I'm trying to do the same, although other people in AA, they see me doing that. Oh, no, you can't do that. Okay, it's okay to ask questions and to have differences of opinion, as it says there. In any case, says our daily reflections, AA's reflection on this reading. As a recovered alcoholic, I must make an effort to put into practice the principles of the AA program, which are founded on honesty, truth, and humility. While I was drinking, I was constantly trying to be in the limelight. Now that I am conscious of my mistakes and of my former lack of integrity, it would not be honest to seek prestige, even for the justifiable purpose of promoting the AA message of recovery. Is the publicity that centers around AA fellowship and the miracles it produces not worth much more? Why not let the people around us appreciate by themselves the changes that AA has brought in us? For that will be a far better recommendation for the fellowship than any I could make. And I agree with this wholeheartedly. This is absolutely true. This is actually core Judaism. The Jewish leaders, I discussed with someone recently, Jewish leaders, there are some groups that they'll do son after son, and you're the next leader. But in general, the Jewish people follow this principle completely. The leaders are of attraction, not promotion. Those who are knowledgeable, those who people want to hear from, they become the leaders. That's how it works. In this context, I just want to point out, as I mentioned from Rabbi Abraham Twersky, he did this, and I'm following in his ways, that in a case such as a clergyman, as myself, who has been anyway trying to help people with character development, it's absolutely appropriate to take the AA message and apply it to my parishioners in my sermons, make a program of helping them with their character development, spirituality. Anyone comes in with a problem of alcohol, I don't start I'm going to solve your problem. No, go to AA. That's not my place. But within my place as a spiritual leader of character development, absolutely, I will use the guidance of the 12 steps, which is a spiritual program to help every individual. That's part of my 12th step, to help others to recover from selfishness and other the human condition, which is not, life is not manageable without a spiritual life. Well, thank you for joining. Have a wonderful, successful day of spiritual growth.